The NFL's been at the center of many controversies over the years. From the charge against Josh Sills to Matt Ariza's lawsuit, here are the biggest controversies of NFL athletes so far. Starting with the charge against Josh Sills. In Ohio, Sills was charged with and kidnapping early this year. The charges made headlines less than 2 weeks before Sills' team was to play in Super Bowl 57, and the statement said the crime was reported immediately. Then the Guernsey County Sheriff's Office did a thorough investigation. Following the accusations, Sills joined the Eagles as a free agent in 2022. What's more, he was given the summons to appear in court on February 16, 2023, in Guernsey County Common Pleas Court. I can only say that he had it coming. And then there was the vaccine scandal for this next player, because there just had to be one among NFL athletes. Aaron Rodgers' reaction to the vaccine was pretty controversial to say the least. Late in 2021, the Green Bay Packers quarterback caused a mixed reaction when he admitted he hadn't gotten the COVID-19 vaccine. Yikes! Even though he had said before that he was immune to the virus. Rodgers didn't back down when he and the Wisconsin team were fined for not following the league's rules about coronavirus. He said he did it because he liked to follow his rules and was big on body autonomy. Rodgers also said that he didn't want to give in to some woke culture or crazy group of people who tell you that you have to do something. Not sure if that applies to a pandemic, but I guess to each his own. 2 months later, he said on the same show that fans wanted his team to lose the playoffs in 2022 because he wasn't vaccinated. This next scandal was famous, and you probably heard about it at some point or other. I'm talking about Tom Brady's Deflategate scandal. Brady and the New England Patriots were accused of deflating the footballs. This was the 2014 AFC Championship game against the Indianapolis Colts. The quarterback, who's since retired, was suspended for 4 games, which he served during the 2016 season. His team also had to pay a $1 million fine. The Patriots also had to give up 2 picks in future drafts. Even though NFL fans didn't like what Brady did, he and his team went on to win the Super Bowl anyway. This next one really took off on social media. It was when Colin Kaepernick took a knee during the national anthem. In 2016, the Wisconsin native was playing for the San Francisco 49ers. At the start of the regular season, he didn't stand for the national anthem. The move protested against the unfair treatment of people of color and police brutality. But many sports fans didn't like Kaepernick's brave choice. By 2017, the player was free, but no team had signed him. Later that year, he filed a complaint against the NFL. The league and the founder of Kaepernick Publishing reached a private agreement in February 2019, but another team never signed him. Some controversies come from referees' calls, like the time Dez Bryant's catch was ruled incomplete in the playoffs. During a playoff game against the Green Bay Packers in 2014, a Dallas Cowboys player made a controversial catch. It was ruled incomplete because there was no football move in the play. If the decision had gone the other way, Dallas could have started over from the 1-yard line. In 2018, the league's competition committee said that the referees made the wrong call. Speaking of referees, let's not forget when there was a disagreement over temporary ref calls. In 2012, the NFL Referees Association and the league got into a labor dispute. This meant that replacement officials had to take over. Late in September of that year, a deal was made after the calls made by the temporary refs were criticized. Here's another NFL athlete who was suspended over assault. Ray Rice was suspended over an aggravated assault charge. In 2014, a grand jury charged the ex-Baltimore Ravens player with assault against his now wife, Janae Palmer. He could have gone to jail for 3 to 5 years, or been fined up to $15,000. 4 months later, Rice was banned for the first 2 games when the NFL season started. Later, video of the incident showed that Rice, who's from New York, punched Palmer and knocked her out. This led the league to ban Rice for life. The criminal charges against him were eventually dropped, and Rice agreed to go to counseling under court supervision. Since then, the NFL's changed its policy on domestic violence. For the first time, players are now suspended for 6 games. If you do it again, you'll be banned for life. Then, there are some serious controversies, like getting badly injured during a game and being forced to keep playing. The Miami Dolphins pushed Tua Tagovailoa to keep playing even after a concussion. When the Miami Dolphins played the Cincinnati Bengals in prime time, quarterback Tua Tagovailoa got a bad concussion and had to leave the game. The NFL and the Dolphins came under fire for this. After a short week, the Dolphins went out on the field, but they couldn't protect their quarterback, who got hit hard several times in the first quarter. Tua finally got so hurt that he had to leave the field on a stretcher. Concussions are always bad for the NFL, but what happened to Tua was especially bad because the Dolphins may have covered up a previous concussion for Tua the week before. Just days before Tua was caught on video stumbling around after a big hit. The Dolphins made it clear that Tua's first concussion of the season was nothing to worry about. Now, that was risky. Remember how I talked about refs earlier? Here's another controversy involving them. It was the time the refs lost all credibility. Referee Jerome Boger and his crew from the AFC wildcard game were kicked out of the playoffs. This is because they did a bad job in the first round, which was highlighted by a controversial whistle. In the game, the ref said that the wrong whistle ruined Tyler Boyd's touchdown catch from Joe Burrow, even though replays seemed to show otherwise. Even though Raiders players said the rule said the ball should be put back where it was, but the refs let the touchdown stand. In either case, the refs lost all credibility, which made the NFL look bad. This next player was arrested for getting into a mess too. Alvin Kamara got into a fight at a Las Vegas casino. Alvin Kamara was arrested for felony battery after an incident at a Las Vegas casino, but that probably wasn't as bad as being caught for using a little something extra on the field. DeAndre Hopkins broke the NFL's rule on performance-enhancing drugs in the offseason. Because of that, he had to miss the first 6 games of the regular season. It could have easily been avoided, but all that pressure clearly got to his head. The suspension meant the Cardinals had to rely on Larry Fitzgerald's corpse for production during the offseason. Here's another player who had punishment coming. Matt Araiza was let go by the Buffalo Bills after he was accused of in a civil lawsuit. The lawsuit was based on his time as a San Diego State University player. Araiza was investigated thoroughly. Letting a player who's been accused of assault into the NFL looks bad for both the Bills and the NFL as a whole. So good riddance, Matt Araiza. That's all the biggest controversies of NFL athletes so far. See you in the next one.